Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that the normal rules of society have been temporarily suspended. Military personnel stand at checkpoints throughout your city, civilian courts have closed, and a strict curfew has been imposed. This is the reality of martial law, an extreme governmental measure that, while rare, has occurred throughout history during times of crisis. Today, we'll explore 5 critical things you need to know about martial law and how to prepare yourself and your family for such an extraordinary scenario. Martial law represents one of the most significant shifts in governmental authority that can occur in a democratic society. When declared, it suspends normal civilian legal processes and places military forces in charge of maintaining public order. This means that the familiar systems we rely on daily, from local police to civilian courts, are temporarily replaced by military authority. Under martial law, citizens may face curfews that restrict when they can leave their homes, checkpoints that limit where they can travel, and restrictions on public gatherings that fundamentally alter social interaction. Even basic civil liberties, such as freedom of speech and assembly, may be curtailed for the duration of the emergency. Understanding the historical context helps put this measure in perspective. In the United States, martial law has been declared sparingly throughout history. Notable instances include certain areas during the Civil War, parts of New Orleans following Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and isolated incidents during periods of severe civil unrest. The Posse Comitatus Act serves as a crucial safeguard, limiting military involvement in domestic law enforcement unless explicitly authorized by law. This legal framework ensures that martial law remains an extraordinary measure reserved for the most serious circumstances. The second critical consideration involves the substantial disruptions to daily life that accompany martial law. When military authority takes precedence, the intricate systems that support modern society often experience significant strain or complete breakdown. Essential services that we typically take for granted, including access to food, water, transportation, and communication networks, may become unreliable or entirely unavailable. Businesses may be forced to close, public transportation systems could halt operations, and the complex supply chains that stock our grocery stores might falter under the pressure. These disruptions extend beyond mere inconvenience. Power outages become more likely, particularly when the crisis involves infrastructure damage or cybersecurity threats. Internet restrictions may be imposed, cutting off digital communication channels that many rely upon for information and connection. The degree of disruption varies considerably depending on whether martial law is declared locally, affecting only a single city or region, or nationally, which would have far broader implications for the entire country. Movement and safety restrictions form the third pillar of martial law implementation. Military authorities typically impose strict controls on civilian movement, including mandatory curfews that confine people to their homes during specified hours. Travel bans that prevent movement between areas, and in extreme cases, mandatory evacuations from certain regions. Checkpoints become commonplace, requiring citizens to present identification and potentially proof of residence to military personnel. Certain areas may be declared completely off-limits to civilian access. The enforcement of these restrictions carries serious consequences. Non-compliance with military directives can result in immediate arrest, and in extreme situations, military personnel may be authorized to use force to maintain order. This reality underscores the importance of understanding that cooperation with legitimate authorities, while maintaining awareness of one's rights, typically represents the safest approach during such circumstances. Communication and community connections become absolutely critical during martial law, forming our fourth essential consideration. The isolation that often accompanies such declarations can be profound, particularly when internet services are restricted or phone networks become unreliable. In this environment, misinformation spreads rapidly. Fear can erode the trust that binds communities together, and reliable information becomes a precious commodity. Strong local networks and community ties often prove more resilient than centralized communication systems during prolonged crises. Neighbors who know and trust each other can share resources, provide mutual support, and verify information through multiple sources. This human network becomes invaluable when traditional information channels fail or become compromised. The fifth and perhaps most overlooked aspect of martial law involves mental and emotional resilience. The psychological impact of living under military authority, combined with restricted freedoms and potential danger, can severely affect mental health. The uncertainty inherent in such situations, coupled with the loss of familiar routines and the isolation from normal social connections, can lead to anxiety, depression, and despair. However, resilience is as much about mindset as it is about physical preparation. Those who maintain mental flexibility, practice stress management techniques, and preserve some semblance of normal routine often fare better during extended crises. The ability to stay calm and make rational decisions not only benefits the individual, but also enables them to support family members and contribute positively to their community. Preparing for martial law requires a balanced approach that emphasizes practical readiness without succumbing to fear or paranoia. The steps involved in such preparation overlap significantly with general emergency preparedness, making them valuable regardless of whether martial law ever occurs. Building a network of trusted neighbors, maintaining emergency supplies, developing alternative communication methods, and practicing stress management techniques all contribute to overall resilience. The key lies in taking proactive steps while maintaining perspective. Martial law remains an extreme and relatively rare occurrence, but the preparation for it builds confidence and capability that serves individuals and communities well in facing any of life's uncertainties. By understanding these five critical aspects and taking thoughtful preparatory measures, we can approach even the most challenging scenarios with greater confidence and resilience. Sresri at sea and